Hey everyone, and welcome back to Baha'i Reflections. It's great to have you with us again as we continue our deep dive into the Ruhi Institute books. And wow, today we're wrapping up our series on Book 7. And I gotta say, I am so excited for this final part.
And hey, before we really get going, if you're enjoying these deep dives and getting something out of them, please take a second to subscribe to the channel. And if you want to get early access and some exclusive content, you might even think about becoming a channel member. Your support truly means the world and helps us keep this channel going.
Okay, let's dive right in. This is our final explainer on Ruhi Book 7, Walking Together on a Path of Service. So, for anyone who might be new, the Ruhi books are basically a series of courses that Baha'is all over the globe study to, build up their ability to serve their communities. And today, we're exploring the third and final section, Promoting the Arts at the Grassroots. This is such a cool topic.
So the text kicks things off with this incredibly powerful statement from the Universal House of Justice. It sets the stage perfectly, doesn't it? The arts aren't just a nice-to-have, they are a vital means for generating joy, for strengthening our unity, and for deepening our understanding. It really frames art not as some kind of luxury, but as something absolutely essential for building a vibrant, connected community.
All right, so let's dig into the very first idea here, which is all about seeing art as a fundamentally spiritual force. It's not just about what looks or sounds pretty, it's about connecting to something way deeper.
Right away, the book asks us to really think about this profound question. It just cuts right to the heart of why we create anything at all. What is it all for? What is the highest purpose we could possibly aim for? And bam, here's the answer, just so clear and direct, from Abdu'l-Bahá, who was the son of Bahá'u'lláh, the founder of the faith. The ultimate purpose of our art, whether it's a song or a poem or a painting, is to show forth the praise of God. So at its core, it's a form of spiritual expression, right? It's the Holy Spirit kind of manifesting through the artist's hands or voice.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. The writings make this super important distinction between what it calls mortal charm, think of it as that fleeting physical beauty, and the eternal, unfading beauty of the true one. And the whole point of true art is to try and reflect that eternal, divine beauty, not just the temporary stuff we see around us. And this next quote just illustrates the point perfectly. Abdu'l-Bahá gives us this beautiful metaphor. You can have the most polished, technically perfect lamp. That's your artistic skill, right? But if there's no light inside, if there's no spirit, it doesn't do anything. It can't light up the room. Art needs both. It needs the technique for sure, but it absolutely needs that spiritual fire to have any real impact.
This whole idea of spirit being infused into art, it leads us perfectly into our next section, which zooms in on one specific art form that has a really special place in the Baha'i teachings, music, and it's described in a pretty extraordinary way.
I mean, just listen to this incredible language from Bahá'u'lláh. Music is a ladder for your souls. How amazing is that? Its whole purpose is to lift us up, to elevate our spirits to a higher realm. But, and this is important, the text also warns us not to let it become wings to self and passion. So there's a real responsibility that comes with using this powerful tool.
And Abdu'l-Bahá gives us another definition that's just so simple and powerful. Music is spiritual food. It literally nourishes us. It's not just background noise or entertainment, it's sustenance for our soul. Just think about that. The same way we think about what we eat to nourish our bodies, we can actually choose music to nourish our hearts and minds.
Okay, so how does this actually work in practice? It sounds nice, but what does it mean? Well, the text shares this really cool story about ancient Greek and Persian philosophers. Before they'd give a big speech, they'd have musicians play. And why? Because it put the audience in a state of, receptivity. It made their hearts and minds more open. The music basically prepared the soil so the seeds of knowledge could be planted and actually grow.
Now, music definitely has a special station, but it's not the only art form the text talks about. We're also going to look at other arts that are just as essential for building community from the ground up, things like storytelling, drama, and crafts. And each one has its own unique power.
Okay, storytelling. This is so fundamental, right? It's how we make sense of our world. And the stories we share, especially those epic, heroic tales from the history of the faith, they do more than just entertain. They connect us. They shape our identity as a community, weaving us all into this huge, unfolding story. And speaking of source material for these stories, Shoghi Effendi points to one book in particular, Nabil's narrative, which you might know as The Dawnbreakers. He calls it an unchallengeable textbook and a source of inspiration for literally all artistic pursuits. It's like a deep well of heroic stories that can just set your spirit on fire.
Next up, we have drama. The text describes it as this really powerful tool for learning and reflection. It lets us sort of step into different shoes, right? We can explore these complex spiritual ideas in a safe space, look at our own habits from a different angle. It makes these abstract spiritual qualities feel real and tangible.
But with a tool this powerful, there's also a need for deep, profound reverence. The guidance on this is super clear and really important. As you can see, we're guided to never, ever portray the manifestations of God, so the Bab or Bahá'u'lláh or Abdu'l-Bahá on stage. Their station is just, it's too high for any person to represent. Instead, their words can be spoken by a narrator. That way, the focus stays on the divine message itself. The figures themselves remain sacred and unseen, and we approach them with the absolute greatest respect.
All right, and then we have crafts. This is all about taking the ordinary stuff around us, wood, clay, fabric, and transforming it into something beautiful and skillful. It's such an accessible art form, and it's so profound. It really elevates the everyday.
And just look at the high station Baha'u'lláh gives to craftsmanship. This is amazing. He connects it directly to one of the names of God, the fashioner. So when we create something, when we engage in a craft with excellence and love, we are actually reflecting a divine quality. It's a holy act in its own way.
Okay, so let's pull all these threads together. What does all of this mean for us, for our own cultures and for our own communities right now?
This next slide gets to a question that I bet has crossed your mind. I know it's crossed mine. Do you have to be a professional artist with a capital A to be part of all this?
And the answer is a huge, resounding no. The book makes it crystal clear. The whole point of promoting the arts at the grassroots isn't to create a handful of professional superstars. It's about opening up those creative channels for every single person. It's about releasing the amazing powers of the human spirit that are inside all of us.
And that brings us to this final, just breathtaking thought. The Universal House of Justice is reminding us that everything we do, including our art, is contributing to this incredible future world civilization. A civilization so amazing we can't even picture it yet. Our little songs, our stories, our crafts, they're not so little. They are literally the building blocks of that future.
Wow, what an incredible vision to end on. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into Book 7. And a huge thank you to all our subscribers and especially to our new channel members. Your support is so appreciated. We'll be back really soon with a brand new series on the next Ruhi book, so stay tuned for that. Until then, if you would, please like this, share it with a friend, and let us know what you thought in the comments below. We'll see you next time.